Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the ARCA Racing Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward. On this channel, we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. We do plan to broaden that scope eventually, but for now, that's what we cover. So in today's edition of the ARCA Racing Series Rewind Show, we're looking back at yesterday's Fans with Benefits 150. I got it right this time. Did not get it right in the outro of the Xfinity Rewind yesterday, but I got it right this time. Am I the only one that I look at Fans with Benefits 150 and Fans with Benefits is not the first thing that comes to my head? I know what their Fans with Benefits program is. It's this program Iowa Speedway's got to give people in this program a little bit more perks or benefits when they come to the track, different things that they can do to thank these people for being such loyal fans to Iowa Speedway. I get it. I know what this is. But when I hear Fans with Benefits or I see FWB 150, Fans with Benefits is not the first thing that comes to my mind. Am I the only one? Is that just me, or I don't know. Anyway, so let's get into this race. Was not televised. It has basically a 1 month tape delay. It won't actually be aired on MAV TV until August 4th. So given that I wasn't at the race, I'm still trying to piece things together as well, but I'm doing the best I can for you. We are trying to get Sheldon Creed on. Spoiler alert, Sheldon Creed won. We're trying to get him on for a winter interview later today here on the channel. As we've figured out before, he is very hard to pin down the day after a race because he usually travels back to California. So haven't got that exactly lined out yet, but we're trying to get that sorted out. We'll do the best we can, and if not, we'll try to get something. We'll try to get someone on to recap the day. So we'll see. There will probably be some sort of an interview go up later today at some point. If not with Sheldon, I'm not sure with who, but there will probably be something. So you want to keep an eye out for that. So anyway, let's get into the results. Sheldon Creed, obviously, as we said, is your winner. His third win of the season, third career ARCA Racing Series victory. Once he got that first win out of the way in Michigan, he has just been on a tear now. And an incredible start to the season now. That's now 10 top 10 finishes. Actually, 10 top 5 finishes in... No, excuse me. 11 top 5 finishes in 12 starts this season. The only race he did not finish in the top 5 was Toledo when he had all those problems. So an absolutely incredible start to the season for Sheldon Creed. Almost got taken away from him, though. Chandler Smith was coming at the end, though. Chandler came up about a car length short and was catching Sheldon Creed at the end of this race. Just kind of ran out of laps. If he had had a few more laps, we might be talking about a second Chandler Smith win here. So it got very close there at the end. Unfortunately, Chandler not really able to give Sheldon much of a run. Just kind of ran out of laps. Rest of your top 5, Sheldon's MDM teammates Chase Purdy and Zane Smith there, 3rd and 4th, and another top 5 run for Joe Graff Jr. Rest of your top 10, Harrison Burton in that 12 car this week for MDM Motorsports in 6th. Mason Mitchell, the 2014 ARCA Racing Series champion, making his return to the series in that 98 car for his own Mason Mitchell Motorsports in 7th. Brett Holmes returns this week, oddly enough, not in his 23 car, but in the 52 car for Ken Schrader Racing. So, not really sure what was up with that. I'm told he'll be back in the 23 at Elko, so I guess we'll see how that works. I don't really know. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Travis Braden in 9th, another strong top 10 for him. And Sam Meyer there in 10th in the 40 car, the 5th entry for MDM Motorsports this week. 15-year-old Sam Meyer making his first series start. 11th through 20th, Christian Eckes kind of off all day. Ended up one lap down there in the 11th position. Max Tullman makes his return for 2 weeks in a row. He was in Chicago last week. 7 laps down there in the 12th position. Natalie Decker, problems throughout the day, ends up numerous laps down there in 16th. Riley Herbst, Michael Self, both of these cars very strong in the beginning of the race, then get caught up in an incident late. 17th for Herbst, 18th for Michael Self. These two really, at least early on, I think were the two fastest cars. Michael Self led a lot of the early portions of the race. Riley Herbst was right there with him and actually challenged him. I believe there was about a 5-lap stretch there where these two were just side by side, and neither one of them could really pull out into the lead. It sounded like an incredible battle. Self ended up prevailing from that though, and then they get it caught up in their incident. They were about 2/3 of the way into the race, just shy of lap 100. Gus Dean also having problems early, smacking the wall. 20th for Gus Dean, and then down here 21st through 23rd, Dick Doheny, Con Nicolopoulos, and Wayne Peterson. So that's your results from the Fans with Benefits 150. And before we wrap up here, we will look at the points standings. They haven't been updated on the ARCA website yet, so this is just off of my math that I have done here. So if things are a little off here, I apologize, but I did the best I could trying to figure out who got what in this race. And as we see here, no position changes this week, but Sheldon Creed, again, obviously with the win, and Zane Smith finishing in 4th, extending that points lead even more, now up to 220 points. So Zane has got his work cut out for him at this point with 8 races remaining in the season. With the way Sheldon has been running lately, I think it's going to be very hard for Zane to catch him. Zane had a really good shot at it a few races ago. Now that Sheldon has got that win and he continues to pick up wins, he's just ever so slightly growing this lead every week to the point where it's almost becoming insurmountable. 220 points is not insurmountable yet with 8 races left, but if it continues to grow little by little, we could be talking about, at this rate, we could be talking about Sheldon wrapping up the championship with 2, maybe even 3 races to go. So that'll be interesting to see going forward. Riley Herbst, with his bad run, has now fallen back into this mid-top 10 pack battle. Only 40 points up on Chase Purdy. Travis Braden right there, 60 points behind Purdy. And Gus Dean now has fallen 110 points behind Travis Braden. So really we have a third place battle with Riley Herbst, Chase Purdy, Travis Braden, and then we have a 6th place battle with Gus Dean and Natalie Decker, now only 10 points apart for them. And we also got an 8th place battle now as Brett Holmes has fallen back into the clutches of Joe Graff Jr., now only 30 points above him. So some small little battles here and there in the top 10. In terms of at the top, though, Sheldon Creed, little by little, pulling away in this one. And what is interesting here is Chase Purdy now has a shot to move up into 3rd in the points, which could be very interesting if we could end the season with an MDM 1, 2, 3 in points. Consistently, I would say these 3 have been among the 3 fastest cars week in and week out, so it would make sense. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I'm going to have to do some research on that. I don't know if there's ever been a 1, 2, 3 in points for one single team in the ARCA Racing Series. I'll have to do some digging on that and find out, because now I'm curious. I don't know if that's ever happened or not. So I believe that will do it for us today on the ARCA Racing Series Rewind Show. We have a Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind for the Coke Zero Sugar 400 coming up here in just a little bit. I'm actually filming it right after I finish this, so shouldn't go up too long after this. Then, as usual, we'll have pole position coming up tomorrow night at 8 p.m. recapping. Let's see, what are we recapping? Xfinity from Daytona, Cup from Daytona, ARCA from Iowa, IndyCar from Iowa, and F1 from Silverstone. So we got a lot to talk about on pole position on Monday, so you want to check in for that, as well as the Cup Rewind coming up here in a little bit. And then, like I said, I'm going to try to get Sheldon Creed on at some point later today. If not Sheldon Creed, try to get somebody. I don't know who, but we'll try to get somebody to get some perspectives from Iowa. So you want to keep an eye out for that. And you want to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications. That way you don't miss whoever we get later today, if it's Sheldon or whoever. That way you'll be able to catch that. And hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the ARCA Racing Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.